I have a little story to tell, and believe it or not, I'm not going to say it's true, but believe it or not, we'll say that. So this guy I know, or I should say I knew, so this guy's on a boat, and there is choppy waves, and it's kind of getting a little bit crazy, and he's praying to God, God save me. And then this other boat shows up that's bigger, and these guys are like, hey, storm's coming in, man, you got to go. Come on, hop on, let's go. And he's like, no, I'm trusting in God. I'm praying to God. I'm trusting in God. And so they're like, okay, you're crazy, and they took off. And he keeps praying to God, and the storm's getting crazy. It's just getting wilder. And then this helicopter shows up, and they drop a ladder, and the guys are like, come on, get on. We got to go, man. The storm's coming. It's crazy. Your boat's not going to make it. And he's like, no, I trust in God. I'm praying that God's going to save me. And so the helicopter takes off. And then the boat sinks. And the guy is in the water praying to God, and then he drowns. And he goes to heaven. And he's like, God, why didn't you save me? And God's like, I sent a boat to save you. I sent a helicopter to save you. And you didn't have faith. You drowned. And he's like, what? So this next song is called Control, Somehow You Want Me. And giving that control to God it feels like it'd be something you can practice. It feels like something that you remember, like riding a bike over and over again, but it just isn't, you know. You don't know what to look for when you're giving control, right? Like this guy on the boat, like he didn't know that God was sending a boat. He didn't know that God was sending a ladder. He didn't know what God's plan was, because God's plan was God's plan. And often we have an idea in our head of like what God's going to do for us. Like, oh, well, I need to pay my bills, so I asked God for money, and he didn't send me money, you know, or I asked God to heal my sick relative. I asked God to heal my father, and he took him home. But if my father isn't home with God, isn't he healed? He is. He is. It's definitely not easy to see that and to see how God's plan unfolds. But when we truly do give God control, it's way different than what we want and than what we expect, you know. But when you see it, you know it. When you see God's plan, you know it. You're like, wow, he really is in control. So giving that control to God is like, it's difficult, you know, and it's not easy. And it's not something that when it comes around time to give God control again, you know, that you're just going to naturally be able to do. You have to truly just give him control. And it's hard to say, it's hard to think about, it's hard to do, but you know that when you give God control, his work is good.